What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the vlog. Hope you enjoyed that last project. We are at a new one now, and you can see we have the whole deck basically framed out. We've covered that quite a bit, so I didn't feel it was necessary to include that in this vlog series, but we are getting ready for a critical part of this, which is integrating the hot tub into the deck area, but it's gonna be poured on a slab. So I'm gonna walk you through that whole process. Please hit subscribe. Stay tuned. You can see here, we have this whole area excavated, and what we're gonna do is get about 4 inches of this 3/4 clean stone base. We're gonna compact that, and then we're gonna put a concrete slab over that the hot tub will sit on. So we basically want this hot tub to look like it's built into the deck, but it's gonna be sitting on a slab. So a lot of stuff had to be taken into account to make sure that happens. To really understand what we have going on with this hot tub and how it's gonna be integrated into the deck and a bench area that wraps around it, check out this rendering. You can see it looks like that hot tub is built into the deck, but it's actually gonna be sitting on a separate concrete slab, and then we're gonna build those benches around it so it ties into the deck right next to it, which will be a sitting area. It'll also give you a ledge, put a drink, put whatever you want there while you're chilling in the hot tub. So it's gonna be pretty sweet, but we had to figure out exactly how big to make this slab. We have the hot tub over there, so we measured that. Always wait till that's on site because they can vary a little bit, and this has got to be pretty close to being exact. So once we get our base stone in here, we will build a 2x4 frame for our concrete. We have a concrete truck coming for that. We're figuring that out so it's big enough to accommodate the hot tub and the bench that sits behind it. So it's about 105 inches total. And then we can build right off of that slab, and it's gonna tie into the deck that's adjacent to it, and it's gonna be built all the way around the hot tub so that it looks like it was always there and it's built around it, which is the goal on this project. How do you think this hot tub is gonna look?
I think it's gonna look bubbly.
You can see we have most of our base in, and now Ant is gonna screw in our frame for the pad. We're gonna get some screws in through the top of this so that they can be removed later and we can pull this out. But we're gonna level this. That'll show us if we need a tiny bit more stone in here, and then we can start pouring after we get it all squared up, and that'll be it. We can now begin pouring. We have our frame all squared up, and you can see we just have these stakes here that we pound into the ground and then screw it in. Here's what they look like, just cut out of a 2x4, go in the ground real easy. Then we can get it to the exact height we need. From here, we just fill this up with concrete a little bit over that frame, and then we'll use that 2x4 as a screed and just work it back and forth. This doesn't have to be a finished slab. You're not gonna see any of it. We are not concrete finishers. That is a trade in its own. So this is gonna be a little rough looking, but that doesn't matter. See, we got like almost half of this down, and all we're doing, we build this box as the frame, level and square that, and then take a straight 2x4 and just saw it back and forth. I'll show you that technique in a second. Again, this is not gonna be a finished patio slab. You don't wanna do it like this. If you're gonna be seeing the top of it, you're gonna wanna actually hire a concrete finisher because there is a lot of technique to that. But this is gonna be underneath a hot tub. Doesn't need to look perfect, just needs to be super strong and structural, which it will be. You can see these real little back and forth movements are just gonna shimmy that, and it's gonna screed that concrete right across. And you can see it goes from this to that. Slab is all done here. We're getting a little bit of rain right now, but that's not really gonna be an issue unless it really starts coming down. In that case, we'll put a tarp over this area so that it's not gonna have a ton of water on it. But this doesn't have to have a finished look to it, so that's not gonna be a big concern. It'll still dry out just fine. And once that dries, then we'll move the hot tub into that area and we can start framing around it, because that's gonna be the really cool feature, how it all ties in and how it makes it look like the hot tub is built into the deck, even though it's sitting on a slab next to it. We are ready to start on this little lower deck. We have a beam that you can see is set down pretty low here. Our drop beam is below grade, so what we did was lay in this geotextile fabric as a soil separator. Water will drain through this, and we will fill that with clean stone as well as right underneath the joists because they're pretty low to the ground.
Oh, that's good.
We've got all our joists in here. You can see we have our beam basically buried, but that is backfilled with 3/4 clean stone, which will be free draining, and then we have that geotextile as a soil separator, so water will be able to drain right out of that. This is a very nice, rich soil. It's not gonna hold a lot of water, so I'm not worried about that here. We're ready to cut these joists, put our rim board on there, and then I can show you how we're figuring out the exact bench dimensions, because that's where it's gonna get complicated. We don't have any room for error, so we gotta get it right on the first time. We gotta get it right on the first time. We gotta get it right on the first try.
Hit subscribe.
All right, we are back on this hot tub area, building benches around it. We got the hot tub pushed into place this morning, and we also got some of these posts up. These are gonna be for some steel framing beams that are gonna give a nice accent to this whole thing, but that's not what we're covering in this video, so we're not gonna cover that. Now we're onto the benches, and I'll show you what we got going on. We've basically got a bottom plate here, and we're gonna build 2 walls on either side of this, and that's gonna leave us with enough room to have 3 deck boards on top of this bench, and the bench is gonna wrap around here, all the way down this side and back there. It's gonna look like we've really planned everything out. Everything's gonna fit in seamlessly. You can see we have the outside frame of this mostly up. This is gonna be about 12.5 inches wide total, and then once we have our trim and our overhang, it'll be 17 inches. The thinking behind that was we'll have 3 deck boards on top of the bench. Our middle one will run right into this 6x6, and on either side we'll have a full board, so there won't really be any cuts or notches or anything like that. It's gonna look super clean, and it took a little bit of planning, but I think it's gonna be worth it to have that nice clean finished product. We now have this bench done, and you can see with this 2x6 in the middle, all of our deck boards will get fixed to this, so we're putting some flashing tape all over this thing right now. And let me show you again how this decking is gonna tie in, because now that it's done, you can really start to envision it. So you can see here, we have this board in the middle. It's just gonna run right into this, and then we have a 3/16 gap, and then our board's gonna go right on here. Same thing on this side. We still have to move the hot tub into its exact location, but this, we're gonna move the hot tub closer this way so that our edge of this deck board goes right up to it. We got this thing pretty much wrapped up, and the next step is gonna be trimming this thing out. It's looking pretty sweet though. From this angle, you can really see what's going on here. Hot tub is in. You can see you step down from the main deck onto this little area, and this is really just kind of an entrance spot into the hot tub. But with these benches, I'm sitting on one right now, it also is a nice little hangout spot. You could probably fit 10 people sitting on here after social distancing ends. And then you can see we have this big ledge that goes all the way around. And that way when you're sitting in the hot tub, you can put a drink there. You can even sit on the edge and have your feet in there. So it looks really cool and it's very functional. Not only is this super functional with this ledge around the outside, again, look how much space you have here. And it's also gonna be about 4 inches wider than this because we have trim and an overhang on both sides. It's really gonna look like that hot tub is built into the deck and like it's just nestled in there. So it's gonna look really cool. It's not gonna look like just sitting next to the deck. I think this is gonna be like one of the coolest features that we've done. It's gonna make this whole project look awesome and just tie everything together really nicely. So I'm really excited to see the trim on there and get this thing finished up. Well, that is it for this vlog. Stay tuned to watch the rest of this project unfold because, like I said, we got some really cool stuff going on here. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit subscribe, hit subscribe, hit subscribe. But until next time, this is Premier Outdoor Living.